Beautiful. All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Realign with Facebook Live. I'm your hostess, Diana Lockett, and I'm really excited today. I mean, every single one of these interviews ignites my life force and excitement, but Taes is such an incredibly beautiful woman. I'm so happy to bring her on here today and have this conversation with her. Taes has over 15 years of working with children in the entertainment industry. And her show that you might be familiar with is called Splash and Boots, and it is a Juno Award-winning show. It's syndicated or sent throughout many different stage television shows or television platforms. And over the last 5 years, she's been incorporating meditation, mindfulness, and dance into her entertainment for children, and has created a program called the Big Heart Journey, which is a unique program that empowers kids to express their feelings and gives them the tools to be able to live life. And I'm going to let her talk a little bit more about it. So welcome, Taes.
Oh, thank you, Diana. Thank you so much for having me. I'm just thrilled to be here to speak to your beautiful community. So thank you.
Thank you. And so for anybody who's watching, I'm just going to do a quick check-in. Yes, we are live. Anybody who's watching, I'm going to monitor the comments on the Facebook page. So if you have any questions or comments or feedback, I'll make sure to relay those to Taes as we do our chat. So Taes, tell us a little bit about how did you get into entertaining children? How did you get into that career?
Yeah, well, it's funny. I mean, I've always, since I was a child myself, I always knew that I needed to do something with children for my life. Like I was like babysitting by the time I was 8, you know. I love kids, and I went to school for music and drama. And I was like, maybe I'll be a primary school teacher. And it never really quite resonated with me fully. So I started doing children's theater in university. I was hired to be a part of this group. And then my business partner and I sort of developed Splash and Boots out of university, like out of a class project. I was like, this is going to be our job. and we did it. You know, we really just kind of decided to do it and made it happen. And it's always felt like exactly what I'm supposed to do.
Amazing. And that show has been broadcasted across so many different networks and stations, right? Like Treehouse and Disney. What are some other places where people
Universal Kids.
Beautiful.
And it's on a lot of streaming networks as well. But yeah.
Are you still filming that show?
So we're filming not specifically for Treehouse anymore. So we're kind of like, we're like free agents. We're creating new things now. So which is exciting.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that's fantastic. So if people want to see Splash and Boots, if they're interested in seeing that or showing it to their kids, where would they go to see it now?
Well, it's still aired on Treehouse. It's aired on all of those networks, but you can also go to YouTube. Or YouTube is probably Cadoodle TV is this new streaming app that they've got that's really great. It's a safe streaming app for kids, and you can download that onto your phone, and we're on there as well.
Amazing. And so tell us a little bit about now you've got a new career or a new stream to your entertainment that involves mindfulness and meditation. How did that come to be?
Well, it's funny because my job as Boots of Splash and Boots was so much of it was about really getting emails from parents that were talking about anxieties and their kids being bullied, and me responding to them, and Nick and I would make videos and support them in any way we could. And then I sort of started thinking, like, how can I support more? Like, how can I give these kids actual tools that will help them? Not only right this minute, you know, we can do all the things right now in this minute, but what can I give them that will help them in a longer term idea? And at the same point, I was sort of like really diving deep into my own mindfulness, meditation, therapy time of life. And I was like, oh man, how fun would it be to just take all of these techniques that I'm learning and like, I want to use the word kidify them, but it's not that I'm kidifying them. I'm just making them more like playful and more fun. And so that like, I always just want kids to have to not feel like they have to do something. Like I want them to like have extreme joy, like we all should when we do things. So I want meditation and mindfulness to be something that they're like, ooh, fun, I get to do this, instead of like, so that's what I really wanted to infuse that feeling into these things that I was learning. So I started doing it as a side project, but every time I did it, my heart would like be like, yes, yes, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Like, that feeling when you're just in it. So that's kind of that, like, that's when I knew that I was onto something that really resonated with me. And it seemed, it also resonates with kids. So that was kind of the beginning of it.
Amazing. Amazing. And I
Mm-hmm.
love how you recognize that meditation is very, I think monastic is the word. Like it was developed for monks to be able to sit and not move and still their thoughts. And I meditate every day and I have for 25 years, but there's a part of it where when I started practicing meditation for like 20, probably 18 of the 25 years, it was just about here. I didn't really move into my body. I didn't even acknowledge my
Mm-hmm.
body. And in fact, when I went into my body, I had this chat a few weeks ago with Justin Michael Williams, who was on the show. When I went into my body, I would want to vomit because my body was
Interesting.
repelling my awareness. And I think for kids, if we can teach them from a very young age, and it's not just about stilling your mind, it's about being present to what is in the moment. And then how do we find the tools to recognize when we're not, which is really what mindfulness is. It's about
Mm.
recognizing when we're checked out, when we're being run by the conditioned mind and beliefs and thought patterns and just all the conditioning and domestication that's been received, and when we're out of our present moment awareness. So, what would it look like?
Mm.
So, people who haven't seen your show, what might they expect?
That was so well put, by the way.
Oh,
I'm just
you're
going to throw
welcome.
that in. That was perfect. So you mean the Big Heart Journey?
Yeah, the big heart journey.
Yeah.
So this
So
is the big heart journey is where your two worlds have now collided, right? You've taken
yes.
your
Yeah. Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
entertainment and your mindfulness meditation, and they've
And
had
they've,
this blast of explosion,
yeah.
and it's come out as the big heart journey. Can I ask first of all, is that just since COVID hit that you've started that?
No. So I
Okay.
started it about 7 months before COVID is when
Okay.
I put out a whole CD of 33 audio meditations,
Mhm.
the fall before COVID hit. And it was funny because I started just writing a couple. I was like, I'll just put 10. And then I was like, but kids need something about anger. And then I'd write another one. And then I'd be like, but what about when somebody dies? I need to make one about death. Like, so I was doing and all of a sudden I needed to so I got to 33 meditations on that first CD because I really felt like I wanted to sort of like give them an overview of life, like these are big things that we're going to be feeling. And in my head, I was like, I can't leave anything out. And of course, there's a million more that keep coming into my head now. But so that first project was quite a while before COVID.
And are
And
these
then
audios or videos?
those are audios.
Audios. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when COVID hit is when I started getting into the video and the live event sort of space, doing more like that. So that when you do a Big Heart Journey now is what I really wanted for parents to be able to do is have something that's available, in that moment. So if your kid is having I don't like to use the word meltdown, but like a big feeling time, a bit of a disconnected big feeling, then it's like in those moments, what can you do? So the way I have it inside of the Big Heart Journey is you can just search, whatever is happening, and then you'll get like a, 2 to 5 minute video, which is like just talking to them and then giving actual ways that we can move through those big feelings in the moment. And it's great to not just do those in the moment. I always say like practice these all the time. Like when you're not angry, like that's when we pretend to be angry. And then we put the technique in so that it's like a game. So then when you're really angry, the technique will just like our brain's just like, oh, and that's, and if you practice it enough, all this. If
I
you
love
practice
it.
it enough, then
Yeah.
you're just going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know it, but I'm assuming the audience would love to hear this from you, right? So this is so important for people to realize is that we don't just call upon the tools that we have when we need them. We need to practice so that it becomes a habit that becomes more accessible. And what you're
Yeah.
describing, what I love what you're describing is I'm assuming parents and kids would watch it together. So the
Yeah.
parents would have the ability to coach the kids. And in doing so, what's happening is the parents are co-regulating their kids because when kids have big
Yeah.
feels, this is my speech pathology 32-year hat that I'm putting on.
Yeah.
When kids have big feels, they are not in control of their nervous system in that moment. They are literally just all over the place. And people try to talk them through these big feels. It's not the time to talk them through it. It's time to
Yeah.
help to co-regulate. How do we bring safety back into their systems? And so
Yeah.
practicing with parents these meditations, first of all, parents don't even realize, and for those of you that are listening as parents, you are getting the benefits of these meditations and practices that Tess is putting out into the world. This is helping you parents. And then when you learn it, you get to teach your kids by doing it with them. So it is such an incredible win-win
Mhm.
situation for everybody involved.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I mean, it's funny because I started just doing kids meditations and I was making these videos and I did it for about a week before I realized that it was it was a pointless exercise because I
Mm,
was like, I can't, this isn't going to work. If kids watch this video and parents are disconnected from the video that's being, watched, or they're maybe, they're doing something else, which is totally fine. But I realized that I needed to, for this program to really be effective and to make a difference, it had to have both parent and kid content that sort of like comes together. So there's always a video for parents that describes why we're doing this particular technique, and then it also gives parents, ways that they can also add it into their lives. Because it's not, I mean, it's all the same stuff. We're teaching, it's the same concepts. It's just like different age groups. And I really love, it really is a full family event. I think that, like I always say, like a big heart family is like, this is how we live. This is how we do life. It's not just part of your day. It's something that can be pulled out at any minute of the day. And it's sort of like a way, I want it to be like a way of living, as opposed to like we just meditate in the morning. Like, no.
yeah,
You have the opportunity to meditate all the time
yeah,
in different ways.
beautiful. And I love that you mentioned the word parts, because what came to mind for me is that we're also through this journey acknowledging all parts of who we are. So when I
Hmm.
grew up, anger, grief, disappointment, all those big feels were not welcomed. I had to play the good little girl. And so now,
Yeah.
as a 56-year-old woman, I had to remember because I just had a birthday, I am just learning to reintegrate those parts of myself that I've denied and what they mean and how I can access the gifts of them. It's called shadow work. And so you're giving kids, parents, and kids permission now to be able to access all parts of themselves. We're not angry children. We're not defiant children. We're not sad children. It's a part of us. And we get to pull in. It's literally like, what are we putting on the menu today? What needs to get served today? What needs to be acknowledged today? What needs to be nurtured today? Yeah. And that exhale, that's how I feel when you're
I know,
talking,
you
Tess.
just like,
That's how I feel.
like
It's like,
literally what you're saying is making me want to cry a little bit.
but this is the
Yeah.
impact of the work that you're doing, is we get to put on the menu all parts of who we are, so nothing gets left behind. In
Hmm.
Sanskrit, in yoga, we call it purnatva. Purnatva means wholeness, completeness, and it is our natural state. But when we are brought up in environments, whether it's schools or homes or societies, where parts of us are not welcomed, and so we shut them down, we deny parts of who we are. And then
Hmm.
at my age was 32 when I started getting this nagging feeling like something's missing. I don't really know what I want in my life. I don't really know who I am. What do I believe in? It's because so much of me was shut down. And so I am so excited because of this work that you're doing. I'm so excited for the future generations to have this vocabulary, to have these practices, to have an understanding that everything you go through is welcomed and essential. It's okay. It doesn't make
Hmm.
you wrong. It doesn't make you bad. And it's so amazing that parents are giving their kids permission through the work that you're doing. So kudos to you.
Mm.
Namaste for that. I
That's so
love it.
nice. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you.
And now
Yeah,
you're
we
delivering services in schools as well, right? You're accessing schools. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I've just been thinking about teachers a lot lately, just because we just went into another lockdown in Ontario, as you know, and
Yeah.
I just thought, like, how can I help support teachers right now? So I put together just a little package of 9 video meditations and an audio meditation, and worksheets to go along with them, just so they can add into the classroom. Because I feel like if we just add in, 3 to 5 minutes a day of social emotional learning into a classroom setting, then we're paving the way for kids to have a better experience at school and to enjoy learning. And I think that, especially right now, it's really easy to get frustrated. You're sitting, if they're, in kindergarten and staring at a screen all day long, it's going to bring up a lot of feelings. I mean, being on Zoom all day brings up a lot of feelings for me. And so I think about these little pumpkins watching, just getting frustrated, and, maybe I'm getting a lot of emails. They're not enjoying school. And it sort of breaks my heart. And I think that this won't be forever, of course, but there are ways that I just want to like be able to support as much as I can. And I think it's really important. And ideally, like I'm a, like big picture, I'd love to have like a program in schools that's regular, and it's easy for teachers to add in. And, we can do workshops for teachers on how to add meditation and mindfulness into the classroom. And I just think it's really important to start kids early, and
Yeah.
schools
So
are a perfect time. Just
it becomes
becomes,
part of the curriculum. It just becomes
yes,
part of
just like,
and it's not just
as
that
it should
now's the
be.
moment to teach this, but we're going to teach this concept and now we get to practice it throughout the day as
Yes.
conflicts come up, as disappointments come up, as whatever comes up. We now
Yeah.
have a shared practice, and again it comes back to the language and the vocabulary to
Yeah.
address it. And again, I'm going to come back to the fact that if when it's being delivered and practiced by teachers, I don't want to ever underestimate the healing that is available in that moment for teachers. Because when
Hmm.
we as educators, because I'm also an educator, when we as educators practice meditation and mindfulness, we then get all the benefits of meditation and mindfulness. And the benefits
Yeah.
are outstanding, from reduced nervous system activation, reduced inflammation, better overall health and well-being, better access to our genius mind, like so many great benefits. And
Hmm.
it's for the kids, but it's also for you, the teachers. And I'm with you. Like, I am not having to be in a classroom most of the time. I think I've been in the classroom literally just a couple of times this year. And the teachers are my heroes and sheroes. Like, they're there every
Ugh.
day, making sure first and foremost those kids are safe. I see that as
Hmm.
their number one priority. And then they have this thing called curriculum that has to be delivered. And they have their own families that are always at the back of their
No.
awareness, right? Their own health
Yeah.
and wellness. So I think the timing for this is essential. And I am absolutely wanting to collaborate with you and see how
Yeah.
we can deliver it into curriculum, because I've done this in small amounts. I've delivered mindfulness programming in some local school boards,
Yeah.
but it hasn't been mass curriculum. It's been classrooms. It's been one superintendent who said yes, let's do it, and several schools involved. But it is this is the time. Like, if not now, then when? This is the time. And
Yeah.
I think that this is one of the transformations and blessings that we've seen through this experience, that we've all had to become extremely sensitive to each other's well-being and to
Yes.
how we navigate this situation. And
Hmm.
what does it mean for a 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 or 14-year-old to have to figure out life today? And what do you do with all that if we don't find a way to talk about it, it gets stored in as tension or kinks in our nervous system that are literally like, ugh. And of course, that's going to come out at some point in a way that's not necessarily going to be well received. So
Hmm.
I love this. I love this.
Yeah.
Right now, if teachers want to access this program, we'll talk about
Yeah.
the teachers first. What do they do?
I have a link on my website. Just go to the teachers section and click on it, and you can get just a sampling. That's with the 10 for your classroom. And those are totally free and available. And I encourage people to share them and just get it out as much as possible.
So you
Um,
guys heard that. This is free.
mhm.
And for teachers who are needing a way to manage a classroom virtually, but even live, but virtually right now, this is the way you start your classroom. This is how you get your kids to sit and engage and buy in and collaborate with you. It's by giving them an opportunity to release, to communicate, to share what's happening inside them. And then you'll have their full attention. They're going to
Yes.
totally buy in.
Yeah.
So thank you. What's your website, Tess?
It's bigheartjourney.com.
Okay, so bigheartjourney.com, free videos, audios, and accompanying PDFs
Yeah.
to print
Yeah.
out to do
To
these
print out.
lessons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Mhm.
What's the age ranges for the schools or grade ranges?
Usually I say like K-4.
Okay.
K-3. I have in the Big Heart Journey membership, I have 3-year-olds, and I have lots of kids on the spectrum who are older. So, I'm always really hesitant to say exact ages, but if we're talking like just in classrooms, yeah, K-3 or K-4.
Excellent. So
Hmm.
teachers out there watching this, and I'm going to share this with a lot of teacher friends.
Thank you.
I don't even know how you could not jump onto this. This is incredible. And I think, do you do all your production from home, Tess?
I do, yeah. So my first round of videos was, yeah, from home. The second round, I hired somebody to come into my home. Because as much as I could do it, I didn't want to be a video editor for my life.
I
So,
know, I know, I know. And there's a
yeah,
whole other set of skills there.
this is
I
a whole
totally
other
get
thing.
that.
Yeah.
I did about 90 yoga videos on YouTube when the shutdown happened. And the
Oh my
first
goodness.
10, my head is cut off, my dog's barking, my kids are clanging dishes. Like it's just hilarious. And I decided to keep them on there because I
Yeah.
want people to see that I am perfectly imperfect just like you. And
Yes.
I embrace
Yes.
that, right?
Yeah. I love
Um,
it.
moving forward, I am hoping to have more production support as I move forward. And now tell us
Yes.
about the Big Heart Journey membership, because I think that's really unique.
Yeah, so I ran a course before Christmas and it went really well. It was, 3 weeks long and I had this group and we did a new thing every day, which is quite intense. I realized that maybe I was it was kind of like classic me, where I think it was just a bit overwhelming. It was really, really great. And then I was like, perhaps I'm giving too much material here. And people kept saying, can you do this as a year-long thing so that we have constant access and new things are coming, but we have space to add them into our family life. So I was like, okay, that looks like a membership. So now we have a membership that basically there's content that's dripped out over the year. And it includes all of the big feelings videos, stuff for parents, as well as bedtime stories. And I do like a little meditation and then the story. And we kind of talk about, what we learned in the story. So just, it's a nice way to, if you just need a minute before bed, parents, you can just, put that on and I'll take care of it for you. But we also do a lot of live events. So I've started doing monthly. Tonight we're doing a dance party. It's a big heart dance party. So it's not just dancing. It's like we set intentions and we pause and we think about what we're grateful for. And then we dance and kids talk and they, say big feelings that they've had, things that they're scared of, and we like shake them out. So it's very like, it's kind of like, I don't know exactly how to call it, but it's like an inspirational sort of a dance party, and it's costume. So it's quite cute as well.
Fun,
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, and then we do Zoom events weekly right now, and I have different themes. Like last week, we did the fearless squirrel, which is something you can do when you feel scared. So this month we're doing how to be kind and what to do when people are being unkind to you, and also on the other side what to do when you're being unkind. So we're going to explore that next month, and I really just try to find what people are needing inside of the membership, and then I cater those events to that. So like we're going to do one on death because somebody lost their cat, and then everybody talked about who they've lost or what animal they've lost. So we're going to really dive. I like to dive into the big feelings and the things that maybe are a little harder for parents to talk about. I want to just support through those moments. Also, if somebody has died, if I find a lot of parents, if they lose a parent and then their kid is upset because they lost a grandparent, it's a lot to ask of somebody who's grieving themselves to support their kids. So I want in those moments to be able to provide support for the kid, so that parents can kind of like focus on themselves. And so I like to do those kind of events, where it's like, what can I do? How can I help with this moment that you're this big moment in your life?
I,
So,
I love the support and I love the acknowledgement. So this past year, I went through 4 massive losses in my life. And I
oh,
have to keep reminding myself, and like this is even excluded from COVID, right? This is just in
mm-hmm.
my personal life, that my son is also going through those. And so I have
Yeah,
my own grieving process and my own way of managing it, but then he has his own way. And so my responsibility is to really be sensitive to his own journey and process for healing, even though I'm in my own. And he's 14. I
mm,
would have loved it if I knew about this before, to be able to give him, at 14 is a little bit of a tricky age for kids to buy
yeah,
into this kind of stuff.
yeah,
But he does have tools because he's lived with a mom who practices this every
right,
day. So he's got
yeah,
tools and he sees what's possible. But it's so important for parents to recognize that when you're going through something, and I understand how easy it is to be in the cocoon of those big feels as a parent, but your kids are
mm-hmm.
also going through it. So how fortunate are these parents to have someone who, first of all, has not only understands the importance of being able to express that, so we don't push it down and put the lid on it, and then it, comes back 40 years later. Someone that understands the value of communicating, of feeling, of processing, and then they're willing to be there, willing to be there to support the parents so they can be in their own process, and you're there helping the kids. And it's wonderful
Yeah.
because a lot of parents don't know how to communicate with their kids. And part of it is that their parents may not have known how to communicate with them. So instead of continuing these generational habits that create potential, like, little mini dramas, traumas, you're now breaking the cycle of silence and saying, guess what, guys? This is all really good to talk about. And in
Yeah.
fact, we have to talk about it. And especially right now, with everything the world's going through, we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love
Mhm.
it. Great.
Mhm.
Now, you also do things just for parents, right?
I do. Yeah, I do. So every Thursday night now we have a parent meditation, and I try to find out, what they need support with, and then we focus in on that, and we'll have a sharing time, and then we'll do a meditation and set an intention for the upcoming week. And then every other week I have a guest coming in and talking to them, and we do Q&As, and of course I'm excited for you to come. And also I can invite your community as welcome to come to that as well.
Oh,
I'd love
amazing. So
to
you
I'd
don't
love
have
to
to be in the
extend that.
membership. You don't have
You
to be in the
do.
membership. Okay.
You do, but I'd love to invite your community
Oh,
in.
thanks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that would be so nice. We like to open things up and and grow. So that would be great. But I'm super excited to have you. And I really just think it's important, especially right now, to have that support for parents. It's a lot,
Yeah.
if your kids are at home and you're working and all of the things.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have kids yet. So I don't know what that's like, that moment, but I do hear about it, and I can feel it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
from
Yeah.
another side. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I personally see it when I work with families remotely, is I see the challenges, and I work with special
Hmm.
needs kids. So mom is trying to work on the call with me with a special needs child, and other kids are running around in the background, and this special needs child is needing their own redirecting and support. And mom's caught a call for work or whatever. And so I appreciate the complexities of parenting in this time right now. And
Yes.
I'm so grateful to have an opportunity to support parents. And I think our
Hmm.
session is May 20th, I believe, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, May
Yeah.
20th.
It's a
So May
Thursday.
20th, if you want to join this, if you're listening to this and you want to join us on May 20th, send me a message and I'll share the
Hmm.
link, right?
Yes, that's
What I do.
perfect. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yep.
And so as we come to a close, people can contact you, thebigheartjourney.com.
Hmm.
They can join the membership there.
Yeah. And also, I always say, if you want to just try it out, we do have a week trial, just to see if it's your thing. And if you have any specific questions about your kids, I'm always open to doing, welcome sessions, and you can ask me. We can have quick Zooms and talk about what you're looking for, what you need. And if I want it to serve your family. I'm not interested in it if it doesn't work for you. So if we can find out how exactly what you need, and whether I can support you in that, then let's do that first. We do have a lot of kids with different abilities in the program, and I want it to be like a really safe space for everybody and inclusive. Like, that's really, really important to me. So it's such a nice group of people. I just love these kids so much. I look forward to, and I now I get to love their parents too. So it's a beautiful community.
Thank you. And when you go on Tessa's website, you'll see beautiful pictures of her with the kids, and you can see her love for the children comes through beautifully through the pictures. And for
Mm,
parents who are listening, especially parents with children with differing abilities, the opportunity to bring mindfulness and meditation, whether your child is able to understand and experience it intentionally, or if they're experiencing it through you, that's what we call co-regulation. It is so important, especially if you have a child who's dealing with physical pain on a regular
mm,
basis, children who are really locked in their bodies. This becomes essential for them to be able to feel better. The breath can help them to release the endorphins in their body that's going to help them with pain management. So whether they're doing it, or if breath is labored for them, you're doing it with them and they're co-regulating through you, the benefits are absolutely phenomenal. And Yeah, that's it's like go to this program and do this with Tess because I actually haven't met anybody else that does this. And I think it's just a matter of time, Tess. I don't know what your plans are, but until it gets landed in a couple of networks and
That's what I would like.
communicated throughout because it's what's needed right now. There are people who are doing yoga and fast yoga and like that kind of stuff, but there isn't really anybody focusing on feelings. And I wrote a book 2 years ago. I'm in the process of writing my solo book. And every
Mm.
time I get a chance, I distract myself from it. And one day when I was distracting I was sitting down to write my solo book and I got a pop-up. No, I'm going to write a children's book. And I wrote this children's book in 20 minutes and it was all about
Perfect.
feelings. And it was about what the
Mm.
feelings feel like in the body. So feeling labels to sensations and then how to express them and that it's okay. And
Huh, can I
and
read this book?
yeah, I haven't published it yet. I'm just looking for an illustrator, but I'm yeah, I'll get it out there. I'll get it
Okay,
out there.
okay.
And really it's for parents too, right? It's for parents to remember it is a normal expression for children to feel and express anger. That's a normal communication. That's how they communicate that there's a boundary that they need that's not being met or that they're frustrated or disappointed about something. And our job as parents is to help to first of all acknowledge that that's okay, not discipline and make it wrong, and then to give them the tools to express it in a way that the way that I teach it is we move it through the heart through and out of the body instead of attacking or hurting someone or something else. So
Mm.
um, I know anger is just one of the pillars that we're talking about, but that's a big one, a really big one. And if we want to raise children that are authentic and able to express their truth from their place of realness, we need to allow them to embody all parts of who they are. And Tess's program is amazing. I've looked at it myself. I'm super inspired and I'm so grateful that you came on here, Tess. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
well, thank you so much for what you do. We are so much in alignment. I can't believe that part about like, I was like, yeah, I tell them it has to go through your heart first. And when something goes through your heart, it changes how it feels in our body. So if we can take that feeling and add our heart to it, then yeah, it's like all the same stuff. We are really
That's,
very much in alignment. I
I
love
know.
it.
That's
I
what we
love
call
what you do.
transformation, right? And we can
Yeah.
transform the big feels to be fully expressed, but in a way that's not hurting other people, that allows
Yes.
us to be honest. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
super happy. Tess and I are having conversations about different ways we can collaborate in the future. We'll
And
see
we
how
can't
that.
wait to tell everybody about them.
Yeah, I kind of leaked it a little bit at a meeting
Yeah,
last
yeah.
week because I was just so excited.
I
But
know.
I'm pulling back. I'm keeping it quiet for now until we can get a little bit more clarity,
Yeah.
and we'll share with you when that happens. But I want
Mhm.
to really thank you and acknowledge you, Tess, for the work that you're doing. I think that it is unbelievably so timely at this point in the world for you to be delivering this work and to be delivering it globally. That it's accessible to all kids, any kids and all families. So thank you so much for doing
Yeah.
that.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you so much for what you do, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Everyone, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. And remember, you can always realign to thrive. Take care.